I'm 27, and my roommate was sitting on my hips, holding one of my wrists beside the pillow, while calmly demanding that I repeat the safe word. The situation would have been much simpler if, 3 years earlier, I hadn't sworn to myself that I would never sleep with her. And even simpler if Vanessa Reed didn't currently look as though my old promise had been written specifically for her to break. She wore a black lounge tank top. Her long, dark hair fell over one shoulder. Gray-blue eyes looked directly into mine. Not playfully, not mockingly, seriously. Say it again. I was lying shirtless on her bed. What? She tightened her grip on my wrist slightly, not enough to make it difficult to pull free, more like a reminder. Don't make me repeat the question, I smiled. You enjoy repeating commands. Vanessa leaned closer. Nathan. That was the problem. The way she said my name. She didn't raise her voice, didn't threaten me. She simply used a tone that made something inside me automatically want to stop joking and do exactly what she asked. I cleared my throat. Red. What does it mean? Stop completely. Immediately? Immediately. No questions? No questions. She nodded. Yellow? Slow down. Check in. Maybe change what we're doing. Good. Her thumb moved across the inside of my wrist. And right now? I looked at her. Green. Vanessa didn't smile immediately. First, she studied my face carefully. Are you sure? Yes. Only then did one corner of her mouth rise. Good answer. She released my wrist, placed both palms against my chest, leaned down, kissed me, slowly, without rushing. 3 weeks earlier, we had only been roommates, at least officially. That morning, we were still telling friends that nothing was happening between us. And now, the woman I had shared rent with for 3 years was sitting on top of me and making me admit something she had understood before I did. I genuinely liked it when she gave orders, only when it was her, and only because I knew that if I said one word, Vanessa would stop faster than I could finish the sentence. Her lips moved to my cheek, then my neck. She whispered, "Hands up." I looked at her. And so it begins. Nathan, I raised them. She exhaled with satisfaction. You are unbearably smug. And you're extremely talkative for someone who claims he doesn't like obeying. I don't like obeying. She stopped beside my ear. You're lying. Only when you're the one giving orders. Vanessa lifted herself slightly, looked at me, smiled, more honest. To understand how I ended up in bed with a woman who had spent 3 years ordering me around in the kitchen and somehow transformed that into a completely different kind of relationship, we need to go back 3 weeks. Although technically, everything started 3 years earlier. I desperately needed a roommate. The rent on my Seattle apartment had increased enough that living alone had become a financial experiment with a very obvious negative result. A mutual friend sent me a number, Vanessa Reed, looking for a room. Normal. The last part turned out to be debatable. We met at a coffee shop. Vanessa arrived exactly on time, sat across from me, took out her phone, opened her notes. Are you loud? I blinked. Hello? Hello? Are you loud? No. She checked a box. Do you smoke? No. Another check. Do you leave dishes in the sink? Sometimes a cup. She looked over her phone. How often is sometimes? Is this an interview? Yes. I'm the one renting out the room. Exactly. That's why I want to make sure I'm not about to ruin my life. I laughed. Her expression didn't change. Do you bring crowds of people over? No. Music at night? Headphones. Parties? No. Do you cook? Yes. She paused. Well, better than most people who answer yes. Vanessa closed the notes. I'll take it. I leaned back. Take what? The room. You haven't even seen the apartment. I'll see it tonight. Technically, I'm the one making the decision. She looked directly at me. You already made it. How do you know? Because you like me. I nearly choked on my coffee. Vanessa smiled for the first time. As a roommate. Very funny. You're blushing. The coffee is hot. It's cold. I looked at the cup. She was right. That was how Vanessa moved in. Within 1 week, I realized I had made one of the best and one of the most dangerous decisions of my adult life at the same time. She was an ideal roommate, paid on time, wasn't loud, cleaned, didn't occupy the bathroom for an hour, didn't bring random people over, didn't touch my food. For the first 2 months, then the rules began changing. First, her yogurt appeared on my shelf. Then my mug became ours. Then one of my t-shirts disappeared. I found it on Vanessa one Sunday morning. She sat in the kitchen, wearing my dark blue shirt and short lounge shorts. I stopped. "That's mine." She looked down. "Mine now." "Under what law?" "The 3-month cohabitation law. That doesn't exist." "It does now." "Give it back." "Take it off." I became silent. She calmly drank coffee, then smiled. "Exactly." Within 6 months, we had become a very strange domestic unit that stubbornly continued calling itself roommates. I cooked. Vanessa bought groceries. She knew which coffee I liked. I knew which candy she hid on the top shelf. She knew when I returned from the gym. I knew how bad her day had been based on how carefully she placed her bag down. The more precise, the worse the day. If Vanessa threw the bag onto the couch, she was in a good mood. If she placed it perfectly against the wall, it was better not to ask anything for 20 minutes. She folded my clothes when I left them out after training. I said, "You don't have to." She answered, "Then put them away yourself." If I worked from home too late, she came out of her room. "What time is it?" "Almost midnight." "Nathan." "What?" "Close the laptop. I need to finish." She walked over, closed it herself. I stared. "Hey, sleep. You're not my mother." "Good." She leaned closer. "Then stop acting like I need to repeat myself." And somehow, I stopped speaking. Vanessa noticed that before I did. A slow smile appeared. "Interesting." "What?" "Nothing." After that, she began experimenting. The first time happened in the kitchen. I was making breakfast. She said, "Give me your hand." I automatically held it out. Vanessa placed a jar in my palm, then looked at my face. "Good boy." I almost dropped it. "Never say that again." "Why?" "Because it's weird." "You're blushing." "It's hot in here." "It's February." "The stove is on." She smiled. 1 week later. "Sit." I sat. Vanessa placed a plate in front of me. "Good boy." I looked up. "I'm serious." "So am I." "You're doing this intentionally." "Doing what?" "This." "Did you sit?" "Because I was going to eat." Of course. The most irritating part was that she never raised her voice, never tried to look dominant. It was natural. "Don't move." I stopped. "Look at me." I looked. "Eat." I ate. Then 3 seconds later my brain would catch up. Why am I actually listening to her? My friend Marcus Hale witnessed it once. We were sitting in the living room. Vanessa came out of her bedroom, looked at the cup in my hand. "Is that your 3rd coffee?" "Second." "Third." "How do you know?" "One this morning, one before the gym. That's number 3. She held out her hand. "Give it to me." I stared. "Vanessa." She kept her hand there. "Nathan." I gave her the cup. She took it, walked into the kitchen. Marcus slowly turned toward me. "Brother." "Don't. She just confiscated your coffee." "It was my 3rd. "You're 27. "I know." "She said give it to me, and you did." "Because arguing would take longer." Marcus smiled. "Of course." "What?" "For efficiency." "Exactly." "You like it." "No." "Yes." "No." Vanessa called from the kitchen. "Nathan, water." I automatically answered. "Yeah." Marcus covered his face. Hopeless. Things might have continued like that for several more years, if not for the pipe. It happened on a Tuesday at 2 in the morning. I woke to a strange sound. At first, I assumed it was rain. Then my foot touched water. I switched on the light. The floor beside the wall was already wet. 5 seconds later, I opened the door. "Vanessa!" She appeared almost immediately. T-shirt, lounge shorts, messy hair. "What?" I pointed. "Shut off the water," she said. "Already going." "I'll move everything." For the next 20 minutes, we ran around the apartment. I shut off the water. She picked up anything we could save from the floor. We called emergency maintenance. A pipe inside the wall had burst. Part of the room flooded. The mattress was ruined. The carpet was soaked. The lower wall was damaged. The landlord arrived that morning, then a restoration company. One man walked around with a meter and used unpleasant words like moisture, drying, and minimum 2 to 3 weeks. I asked, "So I can't sleep in here?" "Wouldn't recommend it." After he left, I looked at the couch. Vanessa looked at me. "No." "What do you mean, no?" "You are not sleeping on that thing for 3 weeks." "It's fine." She sat on the couch. One spring made the sound of someone who had lost hope. Fine? Tolerable. Try it tonight. I did. I woke at 6 in the morning feeling as though someone had replaced my neck with a wooden board. Vanessa came out, saw me attempting to turn my head. You're sleeping with me tonight. No. Why? Because we're an adult man and woman. Exactly. And? Exactly. Adults are capable of sharing a bed without causing a disaster. Very confident. It's king size. Still strange. She shrugged. Then continue destroying your spine. The second night, I slept on the couch again. The pain was worse the next morning. Vanessa put coffee in front of me. Is your pride worth physical therapy? No. Then tonight, bed. I'll think about it. No. I looked up. She said calmly, tonight, bed. Are you ordering me? Yes. It's my back, which you are currently destroying. I sighed. Fine. She nodded. Good. Don't start. That evening, Vanessa drew one finger down the center of the bed. Here's the line. You actually divided it? Mentally. Very official. That is your side. Thank you. Don't snore. I don't. I'll verify. We lay down. There was almost 3 feet between us. I lay on my back, stared at the ceiling, listened to her breathing, and suddenly realized that maybe the couch had not been such a terrible option. Vanessa turned off the light. Good night. Night. In the morning, I woke on my side. She lay with her back to me. My arm rested around her waist. My palm was against her stomach. I froze. Vanessa moved, opened her eyes, looked down, then over her shoulder at me. Good morning. I immediately pulled my hand away. Sorry. She turned. It wasn't bothering me. I was asleep. I know. I didn't do it intentionally. Nathan. What? It's fine. She got up, went into the bathroom, and I lay there trying to understand why her saying it wasn't bothering me sounded more dangerous than any flirting could have. 2 days later, the landlord gave us more news. Once our lease ended, he planned to sell the apartment. We had 2 months left. I read the email twice. Vanessa stood beside me. So we move. I looked at her. Together? She froze for a second. If you want. I hadn't expected that. For some reason, I had assumed she would want to live alone. Yes. She nodded too quickly. Good. We began apartment hunting, and with it came a strange emotional game where both of us were afraid to say the obvious. Vanessa sent listings with 2 bedrooms. I thought, she wants to keep living together. I sent places closer downtown. She thought, he's only doing this for convenience. During one tour, the realtor showed us an apartment. Large kitchen, living room, balcony, one enormous bedroom. Vanessa said, we could save money. We both became silent. The realtor looked at us. Are you a couple? We answered together. No. She looked between us. Right. Nothing was clear to her, or to us. Meanwhile, sharing a bed became increasingly less neutral. On the 5th night, the distance between us decreased. On the 7th, I woke with Vanessa's head against my shoulder. On the 9th, she didn't even apologize. She only said, comfortable. I'm not a pillow. You're warmer. One evening, I deliberately lay in the middle. Vanessa came out of the bathroom, looked at me. Your side. This is my side. No, it's your bed. Technically, I don't have a side. Even more reason to move. Make me. The words escaped before I thought. Vanessa stopped. The room became quiet. Her eyes changed. What did you say? I still had time to retreat. I didn't. Make me. She approached, placed one hand against my shoulder, pushed. I didn't move. Nathan. What? She pushed harder. I caught her wrist, pulled. Vanessa lost balance, fell beside me. Our faces were inches apart. She lay on her side. My hand still held her wrist. Her breathing changed. I released her. She didn't move away. You did that on purpose, she said. You pushed first. You told me to make you. I didn't expect you to take it as a challenge. I always take challenges seriously. Her gaze moved to my mouth. Mine moved to hers. We almost kissed. Then Vanessa pulled back. Sleep. I lay down. Very convincing. Nathan, already asleep. The next day, Chloe Mason came over, Vanessa's friend. She had known us for a long time. She entered, saw the drying equipment in my bedroom, my pillow on Vanessa's bed, me in the kitchen, Vanessa wearing my shirt. Stopped. You two are finally sleeping together? We answered together. No. Chloe looked at the bed. So you're only sleeping together? I said. Technically. Vanessa said. Temporarily. Chloe said, of course. Later I left for groceries. According to what Vanessa eventually told me, Chloe asked, do you want him? Yes. It was the first time Vanessa had said it aloud without denying anything. Chloe asked, then what's the problem? Vanessa answered, I don't know if he wants me specifically. You're sharing a bed. Because of the pipe. He looks at you like the last dessert on earth. He may only want me physically. And I don't want to only be the woman who tells him what to do and happens to turn him on. Chloe apparently replied, that is the strangest romantic problem I've heard all year. Something else happened that night. I woke to movement. Vanessa was sitting upright in bed, breathing quickly. I switched on the lamp. What happened? Nothing. Nightmare? She remained silent. That meant yes. Vanessa rarely showed weakness. Even when something was wrong, her first expression always said, I can handle it myself. I sat up. Do you want to talk? No. Okay. Pause. Do you want me to hold you? She looked at me for a long time, then quietly, yes. I opened my arms. She moved against me. No joke, no command, no attempt to control anything. She simply pressed closer, head against my chest, hand against my stomach. I stroked her hair. After several minutes, her breathing slowed. Better? Yes. Good. She said, don't tell Chloe. Tell her what? That I was weak. You weren't. I was. No. She raised her head. Then what was I? Scared. That's normal. Vanessa looked at me. I said, you don't always have to be strong. She didn't answer, only rested her head against me again. The following day, she behaved as though nothing had happened. I didn't let her. At breakfast, I said, last night was okay. She looked up. What? Not being strong. We already discussed this. No, you stayed silent. Nathan. Vanessa. She narrowed her eyes. I smiled. See, I can answer back sometimes. She stared for a long time. Then unexpectedly, thank you. That mattered more than it seemed. Our first genuine almost kiss happened in the kitchen. I was cooking. Vanessa stood behind me. You're holding the knife wrong. I cook better than you. That doesn't erase technique. She approached, placed her hand over mine. Her body almost touched my back. Like this. I turned my head. You're doing that deliberately. Doing what? Standing this close. Does it bother you? I turned. Now she was directly in front of me. No. Vanessa looked at my lips. Good. We moved closer. My phone rang. The realtor. I closed my eyes. Vanessa laughed quietly. Answer. I hate the housing market. One apartment viewing turned out to be especially useful. The realtor was a young woman around our age. Very friendly. She spoke mostly to me, laughed, touched my forearm while showing the balcony. Vanessa remained silent. After we left, she said, the apartment is bad. Why? Small kitchen. 5 minutes ago you said the kitchen was perfect. I changed my mind. Because of the realtor? No. Jealous? No. I stopped walking. Vanessa continued one more step, then turned. I decided to use her own weapon. Look at me. She looked immediately. I smiled. Good girl. Vanessa froze. Her cheeks turned red. I had never seen her so shocked. Never say that again. Why? Because. You're blushing. It's cold. It's 68 degrees. Wind. We're inside the building. She stepped closer. Nathan. What? Say that again and you'll regret it. I smiled. Interesting. She stared. What? Nothing. That evening, we finally spoke directly. We sat in bed. Vanessa said, you like it? What? Don't start. Be specific. When I tell you what to do. I could have joked again, but her expression was serious. Sometimes. Sometimes? When I trust the person. She became quiet. Do you trust me? Yes. Vanessa moved closer. I want you to understand something. What? Being dominant doesn't mean I get to do anything I want. I know. I'm serious. So am I. If we ever go further, you can stop anything. Okay. Not okay. Tell me you understand. I looked at her. I understand. She nodded. And I can stop too. Obviously. No games if either of us has been drinking. Agreed. Or angry. Yes. Or trying to use intimacy instead of a conversation. Agreed. She thought. We need safe words. We're already planning that far ahead? Vanessa smiled slightly. Maybe. We chose. Red, stop. Yellow, slow down. Green, everything is okay. Then silence came. Vanessa asked, "Can we try something?" "What?" "Kissing you." My heart beat harder. "Yes." She moved closer. Her fingers touched beneath my chin. "Look at me." I did. She kissed me, slowly. Nothing like the sharp tone she used when giving orders in everyday life. Her lips were soft, careful. I put my hands around her waist, pulled her closer. The kiss deepened. She moved away. Her breathing was slightly faster. Color? For a second, I didn't understand, then smiled. Green. She kissed me again, more confidently. Several minutes later, we lay beside each other. I said, "This complicates the lease situation." "Why? We're roommates." "And?" "We just kissed." Very observant. The following morning, we pretended nothing had changed. I made coffee. "It's ready." "Thanks." We stood in the kitchen, silent. I asked, "Are we going to talk about last night?" "No." "Fine." Pause. Vanessa said, "Although the kissing was good." Extremely neutral observation. Objective. 5 minutes later, she pressed me against the kitchen counter and kissed me again. Over the next several weeks, we explored the new dynamic slowly. We kissed, shared the bed, held each other. Sometimes, Vanessa tried simple commands. "Close your eyes." I did. Hands on the pillow. I put them there. "Don't move." That was when I finally understood that I didn't enjoy submission itself. I enjoyed giving her control voluntarily, because I trusted her, because Vanessa wouldn't abuse it, because if I said no, everything would stop. One evening I said, "Not tonight." She simply answered, "Okay." No disappointment, no pressure. She lay beside me, turned on a movie, and that convinced me more than anything else. Then came the night from the beginning of the story. By then, we had already discussed everything: protection, health, boundaries, what she liked, what I liked, hard limits, intensity, aftercare. We were both sober, calm, and fully aware that whatever remained of our roommate-only relationship would be gone after that night. I lay on the bed. Vanessa sat above me, repeated the safe words, checked consent, kissed me. She gave instructions calmly. Hands up. I obeyed. "Look at me." I looked. "Don't close your eyes. You look far too pleased with yourself, because you're listening." Temporarily. She smiled. Sometimes she held my wrists, not painfully, only controlling the pace. Several times I deliberately provoked her, didn't move when she told me, or answered too slowly. Vanessa understood quickly. "You're doing that intentionally." "Doing what?" "You want me to become stricter." "No idea what you mean." Her eyes narrowed. Liar. She kissed me until I stopped answering. The intimacy was hot, highly sensual, playful. But there was no need to reduce it to mechanical descriptions of bodies. The important part was something else. Trust. Her voice. My voluntary response. The way she constantly checked how I was doing. The way she could be commanding 1 second and gentle the next. At one point, I caught Vanessa by the waist, turned us over. Now she was beneath me. Her eyes widened. "Nathan." "What?" "That wasn't the plan." "We had a plan?" She almost smiled. I asked, "Color?" A pause. "Green." I kissed her. Vanessa wrapped her arms around my neck. And that was when she understood something too. I liked giving up control sometimes. That didn't make me powerless. And for some reason, she liked that even more. When everything was over, she changed immediately, brought water, lay beside me, ran her fingers through my hair. "Everything okay?" "Very." "Certain?" "Yes." "What did you like?" "When you stopped checking every 10 seconds. She frowned. "I'm not going to stop." "I know." "What didn't you like?" I thought. "Nothing so far." "So far?" "We have more research ahead." "Very funny." She stroked my hair, quietly. "Good boy." I looked at her. She froze. "What?" "That one can stay." Vanessa smiled with so much satisfaction that I immediately regretted admitting it. The next morning, I woke. She lay against my chest. I said, "Technically, the roommate situation is more complicated now." "Why?" "We sleep together." "We already did." "It means something different now." She lifted her head. "Any complaints?" None. Vanessa moved above me. Good. I laughed. But sex didn't automatically make our relationship official. Vanessa was the one who brought it up. That evening we sat on the balcony. She asked, "Do you want to be with me? Isn't that obvious?" No. Why? Maybe you only like the dynamic. I understood. Vanessa. What? I wanted you long before I realized I liked your commands. She watched me. How long? Approximately since our second month living together. You're lying. Why? You still avoided looking at me when I walked around in shorts. That is exactly why. She smiled. So yes? Yes, I want to be with you. Good. What about you? Nathan. I want to hear it. She sighed. I want to be your girlfriend. There. Don't get used to me saying everything directly. Already making relationship demands. We officially became a couple, and almost immediately had our first serious conflict. Because of the new apartment, we found a place we both liked. Large kitchen, good neighborhood, 2 bedrooms, balcony. I said, "We should go over the budget tonight." Vanessa answered, "Okay." The following day, I received an email from the agency. Your application has been received. I read it twice. Called. Vanessa. What? Did you submit an application? Pause. Yes. For both of us? Yes. Without me? We wanted it anyway. That isn't the point. She started. I thought... Exactly. You decided. Nathan. No. That evening, the conversation was uncomfortable. I said, "In the bedroom, you can take control because I give it to you voluntarily." Vanessa became silent. But in life, I'm your partner, not your subordinate. The words clearly hit her. I don't think of you that way. Then why did you decide for both of us? She didn't answer. I want the apartment too. The apartment isn't the problem. Then what is? Choice. Vanessa sat down. For the first time in a long time, she looked uncertain. I'm used to making quick decisions. I know. And I thought you wouldn't care. You needed to ask. She nodded. Yes. The next day, she called the agent herself, withdrew the application. I hadn't asked her to. That evening, she said, "I'm sorry. Thank you. I don't want to carry our bedroom dynamic into places where it doesn't belong. I also need to speak sooner when something bothers me." She looked at me. Should we apply again? Together. Together. 2 days later, we submitted the application. We were approved. While signing the lease, the realtor asked, "Do you really need 2 bedrooms?" Vanessa said, "The second one will be an office." The realtor looked at us. "So 1 bedroom?" I said, "Basically." Vanessa said, "Finally, someone understands quickly." The new apartment was the first home we chose as a couple. Shared bedroom, office, large kitchen, a normal couch, no burst pipes. Living together was surprisingly similar to before, except now Vanessa kissed me when she confiscated my coffee. Third? Second. Nathan. Fine. Third. She held out her hand. I didn't give it to her. What? Not today. Why? I want to see what you do. She raised one eyebrow. Is that a challenge? Maybe. Sometimes the cup still ended up with her. Sometimes I won. The bedroom rules did not automatically apply to everyday life. If we wanted to play, we discussed it. If not, we were an ordinary couple. Sometimes we switched roles. Giving up control was unfamiliar to Vanessa at first. One evening, I said, "Lie down." She looked at me. "You are far too pleased." Now you understand. She did it anyway. 1 minute later, she said, "Don't abuse this." You're saying that to me? She laughed. A second emotional change happened several months later. Vanessa came home. Very quiet. She placed her bag down too carefully. I understood immediately. Bad day? Normal. So terrible. She looked at me. "Nathan, what do you need?" Normally, she would have answered, "Nothing." But this time, she stopped. Then, "Hold me." I approached, wrapped my arms around her. She rested her face against my chest. "And I don't want to make any decisions tonight. Okay? Will you choose dinner?" "Yes." "Movie?" "Yes." "And turn off my phone?" "If you want me to." She held it out. "I'm asking. I switched it off. Vanessa exhaled, and that became one of the most important moments of our relationship, because trust worked in both directions. She didn't lead because she was stronger. I didn't follow because I was weaker. We simply learned to understand when each person needed to lead. Several years later, our old apartment was being renovated before the sale. I learned about it from the former landlord, asked permission to visit, told Vanessa I wanted to show her something. We walked inside. Empty rooms, curtains removed, the old kitchen, and that bedroom. The wall had long since been repaired. No trace of water remained. Vanessa stopped. I can't believe it. What? That everything began because of a pipe. Not everything. Almost. I said, the best thing that ever broke in my life was that pipe. She looked at me. That is a terrible sentence for a plumber. I'm not a plumber. Even worse. I smiled, then became serious. You taught me something. What? Giving another person control can sometimes be a form of trust. Vanessa watched me. I continued, but the important part is choosing together. I took out a small box. Her expression changed. I lowered myself onto one knee. And I want to make all the rest of those choices with you. Her eyes filled with tears. She covered her mouth. Nathan. Vanessa Reed, will you marry me? She remained silent for approximately 3 seconds. For Vanessa, that was a very long time. Then, yes. I smiled. Was that clear enough? She laughed through the tears. Yes, of course yes. I put the ring on her finger. Vanessa stared at it, then wiped her eyes. Don't tell anyone. That you cried? Yes. Okay. Pause. She looked around the old room, then at me. Sit. I laughed. We just got engaged. I know. And you're still giving orders? She pointed toward the windowsill. Nathan. I sat. Vanessa settled into my lap, wrapped her arms around my neck, kissed me, then whispered, good boy. I shook my head. That is exactly why I'm marrying you. Several months later, we were lying in our new bedroom. I was reading. Vanessa came out of the bathroom, looked at me. You're on my side. We don't have sides. We do. Prove it. She approached, took the book, placed it on the nightstand. Move. No. Vanessa raised one eyebrow. Is that a challenge? Maybe. She sat on the edge of the bed. I caught her by the waist, pulled. 1 second later, she was beneath me. Her eyes widened in surprise. You forgot the rules. No. Then? I smiled. Tonight I choose. Vanessa watched me, then asked, color? I leaned closer. Green. She wrapped her arms around my neck. Good. Our relationship was never built around who was stronger, or who gave orders. In the bedroom, Vanessa sometimes took control. Sometimes I did. Sometimes neither of us did. In life, we made decisions together. I trusted her enough to voluntarily give her control. She trusted me enough to sometimes stop controlling anything at all. And everything began with a very ordinary domestic problem. A pipe burst. One bedroom disappeared. One bed remained. And 2 roommates who had spent 3 years telling everyone that they only looked at each other because of rent-related matters. The pipe was repaired in 3 weeks. We didn't need to be.
Three years sharing rent and coffee, calling everything we did routine. You took my shirts, I cooked the dinners. Somewhere blurred the space between. You'd say, close the laptop, I complain and close it anyway. You'd hold your hand out for my 3rd cup, I'd swear I could have said no all day. Then you said, sit. I sat, you smiled like you just solved a crime. I told myself it was convenience. You already knew I was lying. It wasn't the words, wasn't your voice alone. It was knowing I could stop it and you let go. I don't lose control, I give it to you. That's the difference in everything we do. One word and you stop, one look and you know I'm not weak when I let myself let go. I don't lose survive. 3 feet between us on the first night. By the 7th, not quite. I woke up holding your waist, you said it didn't bother me. Funny how 4 simple words can make a room too small to breathe. And I told you, make me move. You took the challenge seriously. One hand against my shoulder, 1 second from changing everything. You could command a room without ever raising your voice. But what made me trust you was knowing I still had the choice. I don't lose control, I give it to you. That's the difference in everything we do. 1 word and you stop, 1 look and you know I'm not weak when I let myself let go. I don't lose control, I choose when I do. And I only like surrender when I'm giving it to you. Red means stop, yellow means slow, green means stay exactly here. You made me say them twice before you let desire get anywhere near. Then ask, can I kiss you? After years of acting like you already knew. And somehow that question hit me harder than every order you ever used. Because you could have assumed you didn't. You waited until I said yes. And every time you checked again, I trusted you a little more than before. But then you signed our names to an apartment before I ever gave the word. And suddenly the lesson left the bedroom and became something that hurt. I said, and there I hand you control. Out here we choose side by side. You looked at me like nobody had ever drawn that line so clear in your life. Then you withdrew, it came home, said I'm sorry, ask me again. And that was love more than any command could be. Because control without choice was never what I needed. And you finally understood me. Then one night you came home quiet, set your bag down straight and slow. Said, I don't wanna decide tonight, would you take over? And I knew trust went both ways. I don't lose control, I give it to you. And sometimes you give yours to me too. One night you leave, one night I choose. Some nights neither of us has anything to prove. I don't lose control, I know what it means now. Strength isn't always keeping both hands on the wheel somehow. Sometimes love is saying I trust where this could go, then hearing red and knowing you can always say no. I don't lose control, I give it to you. Because every single time you give the choice back to red, yellow, green. Not rules for losing power, rules for being seen. The pipe got fixed in 3 weeks. The wall dried out, the room came back. But we never went back to separate sides of the bed. Years later in that empty apartment, I put a ring inside your hand. You said yes, then told me, sit. I laughed and did, not because you made me, because I wanted to.